If farts were cold, they would sink and no one would smell them. In 60 years' time there is going to be a whole wave of elderly influencers endorsing products like adult diapers and retirement homes. The top of the hand sanitizer pump must have the 0.01% of germs. There must have been at least one ancient Greek girl who got caught messing around with an animal, but got away with it by saying it was Zeus in disguise. It is possible that some pets don't understand the concept of clothing and think that we physically change colors every day. Fear-based toilet paper buying is a prisoner's dilemma. If you and your neighbors only buy as much as usual, everyone has enough toilet paper. If your neighbor buys in excess, you get no toilet paper. If you buy in excess, your neighbor gets no toilet paper. True antisocial social club members are not a member of the club. Any paper can be toilet paper if you try hard enough. It wouldn't even be a surprise if we saw the news headline "Florida man holds woman at gunpoint for the last roll of toilet paper." Technically all animation is 2D animation. The first phone in the world couldn't be used until a second one was made. Calling a fear of palindromes abophobia was a dick move. A child acting adult is considered adorable, whereas an adult acting like a child is considered creepy. Rock-A-Bye Baby is a song about a baby falling to its imminent death. One day, humanity will reach a point that is so complex that a person would have to spend their entire life studying something to advance that field further, making it impossible to evolve from that point on. Pouring a cup of coffee on your face helps you more to wake up than drinking it. The heart is a timer counting downwards toward your death. Having a $100 bill is a great feeling until you want to use it to buy something that's $5 to $10. It suddenly became more embarrassing to cough in public than it is to fart. There is probably not a more pointless insult than calling your brother a son of a bitch. If you never cut your nails, you'd have a progress bar of your life so far. It's kinda weird how we can just stare at information on a screen all day and consider that having fun. A punch hurts, but a slap feels more personal. It's not gay to act gay with the boys, but it's gay to act gay with a boy. The current generation of babies will grow up with parents that understand that they can't pause their game. Mirrors are portals to an alternate dimension where right is left and left is right. And whenever we try to step through this portal, our alternate self is also trying to step through, creating resistance that stops us from succeeding. Buying someone a pet as a gift is a horrible idea. You just made a decision impacting their finances and time management. For the first time in recent history, a cruise ship is more dangerous than a cruise missile. If you ever feel stupid, remember that there are still people out there forwarding posts online so that they won't die in 7 days. The only reason banks with low-resolution cameras appears on the news is because banks with high resolution have a higher chance of catching the robber's face. Jerry is Tom's drugs, he knows it's bad for him but he still kept chasing it. Bon Jovi must be 3/4 of the way there by now. Birds have all the sky to fly through, and still get hit by cars. Dr. Frankenstein is the world's most famous bodybuilder. You can get any accent perfect in your mind. There was a moment in which your father/mother put you down and never held you again. The hardest time to breathe normally is when you're told to just breathe normally. Not learning how to swim could be the biggest regret a person could have. In movies, thunder and lightning happens at the same time. There will be a time in the future when most all school teachers will know to move the cursor off of the bottom pause/play bar when showing a video because they would have grown up with modern technology. We are always living in the past because our senses are slightly delayed. If hockey arenas didn't have round corners, the puck getting stuck in a corner every 2 minutes would make it horrible to watch. Bidet owners must be feeling pretty smug right about now. The fact that blue raspberry is such a wildly accepted flavor is sort of odd. Over the next few months we will find out which bosses lied when they said, "Your job can't be done from home." We are making COVID-19 worse by buying out all the toilet paper/hand sanitizer and making such a huge deal about it. Spider-Man wouldn't be nearly as effective if he wasn't in a dense urban city filled with skyscrapers to swing off of. In the future, Ghostbusters will probably be remade with an epic battle between living and dead cast members. People can see almost any place in the world on Google Maps, and the first thing they look up is their own house. If you run out of toilet paper and can't find any in the stores, just go to CVS and buy a pack of gum. Our fingers conveniently grow in proportion to our nostrils. At first you'd think this is a germaphobe's nightmare, but really it's their dream come true because everyone is acting like them now. Rotten eggs smell bad because they're basically corpses. No one in movies ever have the bottom locker. Sex crimes are so reviled that you could end up on a registry, U.S, and could have to let any future neighbors know what you did before being allowed to live amongst them. You could kill 5 people, serve your time and go back into obscurity. Talking with your mouth full is considered rude, but when everyone is silent at dinner time is very uncomfortable. Erasers erase themselves when you use them. Many of us have the same thoughts, it's just a matter who shares it first. Our own dirty underwear feels cleaner than someone else's clean underwear. Most people won't ever know if they're amazing at something. Nuclear weapons have stopped us having world wars for almost 75 years. Home is where you don't search for the light switch. Mr. Rogers didn't die, the big guy upstairs just needed a neighbor. It's very fitting that either has 2 different, widely accepted pronunciations. Your pets probably think that the weird quirky things you do around the house when no one is looking are normal, because that's all they know. The turtles don't wear their masks so they can stay incognito, they wear them so people can tell them apart. Someone has likely wondered why reckless driving is a bad thing. If more people were paid by task instead of by hour, most people would have a lot more free time. In Star Wars there must be a lot of missed laser shots floating through space. Esports is about to have a spike in viewers with all the land sports getting cancelled and postponed. Maybe quarantine and restricted travel is good for the environment. If everyone in a big room sarcastically slow clapped, it would sound like normal clapping. Burping a baby is one of the few instances where the old basic training saying the beatings will continue until morale improves is actually true. While it is highly unlikely, there is no evidence the universe wasn't created 20 minutes ago, and you were spawned with the memory you have now. Somebody has to draw boobs on Lego people. You never realize how good things are until you get the hiccups. The more you eat Pringles, the more likely your hand won't fit in the can to reach those last chips. People are buying months and years worth of hand sanitizer, leaving a lot of us without. Doing so might create way more sick people who may cause the hand sanitizer hoarders to fall ill. You've probably walked past a serial killer who felt you weren't worth the effort. Everyone on earth is probably in a chain of knowing each other, you know a barber in another city, he knows his uncle and so on. This outbreak is either not that bad or way beyond bad and we're just not told yet. The entire NBA was suspended before a single Astros player. You've probably discovered a new type of insect but thought it was already discovered so just ignored it. Kids who played Club Penguin probably lost contact with a lot of their friends because the game was their only form of communicating. It's a good thing blinking doesn't make a noise. With enough tension a hockey game can turn into a boxing fight. But a boxing fight has never turned into a hockey game. 90% of the people who read this don't know what's wrong with this sentence. Lions, the kings of the jungle, have neck beards. If you die and your body gets put in vinegar, technically you become a pickle. The IT movies could be collectively referred to as them. Antarctica is the only continent that's COVID-19 free. Horrifying and terrifying are synonyms, but horrific and terrific are not. Your smartwatch probably knows you're masturbating. A distraction doesn't become one until you pay attention to it. You can't spell assassination without 2 asses in a nation. The lofi hip-hop radio girl is stuck for eternity studying for an infinitely long exam that will never come. Arguing with someone in your dreams is technically you arguing with yourself. A more pixel-y image actually has less pixels. The ceramics industry in Hyrule must be very successful. Having a pancake stack completely defeats the purpose of a pancake, which is being a flat cake. Now is the perfect time to pretend to cough to get out of an uncomfortable situation. Jeff Bezos must be making a killing out of everyone self-isolating. The most effective alarm is the one you hate hearing the most. If you respond with "I don't care," it makes you sound disrespectful and not interested. If you respond with "surprise me," you sound more interested with a similar amount of apathy. At the beginning of every hour, millions of people around the world have their birthday due to time zones. Chances are, you've been in close proximity to a serial killer at least once in your lifetime. Horror movies are titled after the bad guy of the movie. Action movies are titled after the hero of the movie. A dildo made of ice has the advantage of being able to melt if it gets stuck, so you don't have to make a trip to the ER if it does. If you hold a crab up to your ear, you can hear the sound of a crab attack. TikTok is teaching an entire generation that it's okay to film vertically. If there was a cure for procrastination, you might never get around to using it. If Pinocchio keeps saying that he is a big tree, eventually he will become one. Basically, Elsa can control water and ice. So she's a water bender. In about a year there is going to be a boom of quarantine babies. Butterflies are the most popular of all the flies. There is zero proof that today's dinosaur sons are real. You think all your thoughts are original until you try to post on Showerthoughts.